Hey music fans! As a roadie, I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road, and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios, and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie, and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. I like doing blocks, and then like me, you guys can react to all of them in a row and really start to understand the tracks. Now this is going to be part of a very, very big block, probably my biggest one, because I love this track. But I wanted to do a separate set of just Gary Moore performing his song, because all of these performances were really good to me. I loved them. You guys are welcome to pick and choose which one you thought was best. You can pick multiple if you want. You can pick them all. There's no rules. You can dissect them. You could talk about it. You could talk about how ridiculous it is that I didn't recognize Eric Singer, how crazy it is. I didn't know I was the keyboard dude from UFO. But I learned a lot in this little segment, and I learned to really appreciate Gary Moore as a solo artist because I've always liked Thin Lizzy. Anyway, guys, have fun with all of these. And most importantly, enjoy. If you guys are interested, there'll be more to come. People covering this wonderful track. Nightwish, Tommy Johansson, Dan Vaskin, stuff like that. I'm going to do it all on this channel. I love this track. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing all you guys on the next one. So we'll see, but this could start a whole new series. This is a track I am not familiar with. I don't think. It's Gary Moore. I've heard of Gary Moore. I know who he is. But I don't know this track, I don't think. It's Over the Hills and Far Away. Now here's the deal. I looked up Nightwish. I was just going to find a track I hadn't heard before, and I found this. And then I found out it was actually done by Gary Moore. And then I found out it had been covered by Tommy Johansson and other people that I like. So I was like, this might be really, really cool. At the very least, it's got to be a good track. Otherwise, all these people that I personally like wouldn't have covered it. Let's jump into Gary Moore's version first here. I believe this is the official music video. I think it's back in 1987. But let's give it a go and let's see how good it is. Fingers crossed. Let's do this.
Came for here one winter's reach the seas, back in his arms again. She'll be over the hills and far away. He swears he will return one day, as sure as a river reach the seas, back in his arms is where she'll be. Over the hills and far away. She prays he will return one day, as sure as the rivers reach the sea, back in her arms is where he'll be. Over the hills and
Got a smile out of the little kid at the end. Got a smile out of me, the big kid. That was super, super good. I loved the video itself. I thought the video looked awesome. I liked him standing there on this cool set. Very 80s, very neat. Super 80s hair. I dug it. Lyrically, we got to listen to the lyrics a little more, but it was pretty tough guy stuff. You know, spent the night with his best friend's wife, and then he went to jail. This guy. So, I don't know. I listened to it slightly unfairly, possibly, because I was intrigued knowing what did Nightwish do with this track, what did Tommy Johansson do with this track, what did Dan Vask do with this track, because I've cheated and I've seen ahead. So a little bit cheat on Gary Moore in that I didn't listen to it full for him, but I loved how he performed it. It's got a cool hook. The violin was super cool, man. Super, super, super cool. Love there was a clarinet in there. I used to play clarinet very poorly, but I dig the instrument. So I think this is neat. Now, I did find a live version of him doing this in 2010, so it's way ahead. We're going to jump into that next, and I'm going to give it a go before I jump into anybody else's. I want to understand Gary's original version as well as I can. And what I'm smiling about here is I'm super stoked about jumping into this song deep because I think this song's awesome. So let's do this, guys. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you all on the next one. So I found myself whistling this track as soon as it finished. I just watched the music video for the very first time. Never heard the song before that. I totally dug it. And it's true, as soon as it ended, I was like... so I'm like, I guess that's a sign I dig the track. This is cool. This is going to be a 7-minute live version. I think this is going to be awesome. My gut is we'll have a bit of time with some clapping and stuff, but maybe we'll get an extended guitar solo or something cool. Second time I ever listened to this song. Let's give it a go. Gary Moore.
You ready? led to that die. He knew that he'd be wrong. He stand accused of robbery. He had the bail of sin. You without an alibi. Tomorrow's light, all his freedom over the hills and far away. Within all his he'll count the days over the mountains and the seas. A prisoner's life for him don't mean. Knew that it would cost him dear, but yet he dared not say where he'd been that fateful night. A secret it would stay. Had to fight back tears of rage. His heart beat like a drum. You without alibi. Tomorrow's night, Lord, his freedom over the hills and far away. Within all his he'll count the days, far from the mountains and the seas. A prisoner's life for him will be. He sat within his prison cell. He looks at through the bars. He reads the letters that she wrote. One day he'll know the taste of freedom over the hills and far away. She prays he will return one day, as sure as the rivers reach the seas. Back in his arms again she'll be. Over the hills and far away. Past the days, sure as the river reach the seas. Back in his arms is where she'll be. Over the hills, over the hills and far away. Over the hills, over
haven't enjoyed a performance like that in a really long time. I just thought that was freaking incredible. At the end, I kind of forgot to breathe for a little while. I swear it's totally true. There's 30 seconds left. I looked, I was like, oh, better start breathing again. Why did I like it so much? The tone of that guitar is so amazing. I've only listened to this 2 times. This is my 2nd time ever, for real. And I'm already humming along with the track. That's a hook. That's how it's done. He's not the greatest singer in the world in this, but he's a little older in this performance. He's a little heavy set and maybe a little bit out of wind. However, it was sort of like an aged glass of bourbon. It's why I like Tom Waits so much. It's why I like Townes Van Zandt so much. These guys who have performed their track for ages, they're doing these tracks and they know them so well. You know, there's this coolness to it. There's this grit to the way he sang it. And his guitar just completely makes up for any lacking ability in vocals. That being said, I really actually enjoyed the backing vocalist, the keyboard player, too. I thought he was really good, so he deserves a shout out. But the strength here was just that wonderful guitar just soaring through the heavens, man. It was a spiritual experience and maybe one of the best live performances I've ever watched. I just really, really was into this. Now, all this being said, I was totally going to jump in to see what Nightwish does it. I'm intrigued to see what Empu does with it on the guitar. I'm intrigued to see what Tommy Johansson does with it on the guitar. But before I do that, I'm going to see if I can find another live performance from Gary Moore, just because I like that so very, very much. There's no rush here, you know, and I want to take my time and enjoy this like a fine, fine glass of whiskey or something, because, man, I just can't say enough of how awesome that was. Let's see what else we can find live, and then we'll jump into the other covers and the Nightwish stuff or whatever. But hopefully you guys enjoy this ride with me. Had you ever seen this performance before? Are you guys as blown away as me here? Because that was so good. Thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So I may have told a little lie here to you guys, a fib. I think I'm going to explore some more Gary Moore before I jump onto other versions. I haven't heard any of those yet, and I kind of want to enjoy where I'm at the moment. So I found a number of performances with Gary performing this track in 1987, and we're going to do those performances that I found on YouTube, and then we'll jump into some Nightwish, and we'll see what they did with the track. This is from the Top of the Pops show. It's on January 1st, 1987. Let's do this.
They came for him one winter's night. Arrested, he was bound. They said there'd been a robbery. His pistol had been found. They marched him to the station house. He waited till the dawn, and as they led him to the dock, he knew that he had been wronged. You stand accused of robbery, he heard the bailiff say. He knew without an alibi, tomorrow's light would mourn his freedom over the hills and far away.
So I'm enjoying the performance, but correct me if I'm wrong, might be way wrong here, but I think he's lip syncing. I don't think Gary's actually singing this track on this performance. You guys can let me know, but start looking here and see what you guys think. But they sure look cool. I love the raincoat and everything. Drummer's crushing it. And it's the same keyboard player there as that 2010 performance, which is what started wanting me to see him do some live stuff. But he's got a lot more hair here. And he's crushing it. He's got quite a lot going on.
For 10 long years he'll count the days over the mountains and the seas. A prisoner's life for him there'll be. He knew that it would cost him dear, but yet he dare not say just where he'd be on that fateful night. A secret it must stay. in his arms again. She'll be over the hills and far away. It's where she will return one day. As sure as the river reaches the sea, back in his arms is where she'll be. Over the hills and far away. She prays he will return one day. As sure as the rivers reach the sea, back in her arms is where he'll be. Over the hills and far
Ah, fun performance. I don't know, maybe just the sync was off. I don't know. I hate saying, oh, it's lip syncing because it's just such an easy thing to say, but I'm not sure. Either way, I enjoyed the performance, and I loved all the charisma on stage and everything. And I heard of Top of the Pops. We don't have that in the States, so I don't think I ever watched that when I was a kid. I don't know if it's still on or not, but I've heard of the show. Anyway, it was fun. I'm going to jump into the next performance from 1987. We're going to give it a go, and we'll see what that one's going on. I found one in Tokyo. I found him perform with the Chieftains. There's going to be some cool stuff coming here. So anyway, I'm going to jump right in the next one. Guys, I look forward to seeing you on that. Thank you so much. So this is the track again, Over the Hills and Far Away. This is live in Stockholm, 1987. I actually looked up the keyboard player because I've been really impressed with his performances thus far. And he was in UFO. His name's Neil Carter. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, man. Anyway, let's see what we got here. The Top of the Pops performance didn't blow me away as much as the 2010 one in Montreux, which is why I was like, we really need to do some more Gary Moore before we jump into other stuff. This is a longer version, though. We got 6.5 minutes, kind of like Montreux, which is cool to me. Maybe there'll be some awesome guitar solo stuff. We'll see if they switch it up a little bit. Let's see what we got. Let's do this. See the cool special effects going on there. Okay, so this one's live for sure. I'm ready to get back into the groove here. I'm going to totally dig this.
They marched into the station house. We waited until the dawn. And as they led to the dark, we knew that he had been gone. We stand accused of robbery. He had the veil of sin. He knew without an alibi tomorrow's light would warm his freedom.
man, really good. I wanted it to keep going, but it's cool. We got more versions, so it is gonna keep going. I loved this. I don't know if I liked it as much as that 2010 version in the Jazz Festival. I thought that was really, really great, but this was so very good. I liked the spotlights. I liked the shadow of Gary behind him as he was running around the stage. I thought that was kind of a neat thing. I like the longer version for sure. The short version's cool. The hook is more pronounced there. But when you have the longer version with all that amazing guitar playing, it just gives the song and the breathing room that it needs so much because it's so good. There's no reason to make it 4 minutes. It's so very good. And now I question with all these covers that I'm about to jump into soon, did they do the 4-minute version or did they give it some girth? Did they give it some space? So we'll explore that in a little bit. We're going to jump onto the next one from 1987. I got a couple more. Let's do it. So on that last version, the last live version that I did there, they announced all the people in the band, and it said Eric Singer. And I was like, is that the Eric Singer from Kiss? And so I didn't say anything because that dude's American, right? So anyway, I just looked it up. It is Eric Singer from Kiss. I wasn't aware that he played with Gary Moore. So for you Gary Moore fans, you're like, duh, idiot. But we all got to learn somewhere. So that's cool. I did like the sound of the drums on the top of the Pops version. They had a wonderful, aggressive sound to them. It was a very open sound. It was a pop, 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 pop. So I noticed it, but I mentioned the keyboard player over it, didn't I? So I like the keyboard dude from UFO. He did really good on the backing vocals on that 2010 version from Montreux. Anyway, sorry. Let's jump into this version. This is going to be something cool. This is with the Chieftains. Now, I've been digesting the lyrics a little bit, and it's pretty similar to the Long Black Veil, subject matter-wise, right? And so when I think of Long Black Veil, I actually think of the Chieftains. Remember, they did it with Mick Jagger on one of their albums. I had that as a kid, and God, I liked it so much. I really did. So nothing against the Rolling Stones. I like the Rolling Stones, but Mick Jagger did some really wonderful things outside the Stones that people should listen to a little more often, like that song, Long Black Veil. Anyway, let's jump into this and let's see what we got, and hope it's awesome. This is from 1988, I believe. So let's do this.
There's a young man over here, and he started out in Skid Row with Brush Shields and the late Phil Lynott. Last year he released an album called Wild Frontier, and in that he said about marrying the traditional instruments together with a lot of the electronic gear which has become so popular in the heavy rock scene over the last 10 or 15 years. And we reckon it was one of the first attempts to marry the two different technologies, as it were, and it was very, very successful indeed. Wherever you are at home, turn up your sound for this. Turn up the sound on your television for this. Turn it right up. Don't be afraid of it. Sit well back and turn up the sound. Would you welcome, please, Gary Moore?
So a little bummed because we're only 5.5 minutes left here. So I don't know how much we're going to get of guitar solos. But it's not 4.5 minutes, so let's see what we got.
They came for him one winter's night. Arrested, he was bound. They said there'd been a robbery. His pistol had been found. They marched him to station house. He waited till the dawn. Stayed there to the dark. He knew that he was been wrong. Stand accused of robbery. back in his arms again. She'll be over the hills and far away. She prays he will return one day. She'll rest the river, weaves the seas. Back in her arms is where he'll be. Over the hills and far away. Over the hills and far away.
Hey, Teddy, what about that marriage between all that electronic gear, all that fabulous stuff? Do you reckon you're going to do more of that, or what?
No, not any more than what we're sort of at the moment. Gary has happened last year, and he had this little bit of a jig that he thought he got some fiddles and pipes and that in. So we went in and put it down and came out in a single that he had. And then they dressed me up in leather, would you believe, for the video. I was like Napoleon gone wrong or something. And this hat and all, it's just dreadful. I saw this thing happening. No motorbikes.
That stuff is kind of frowned upon by the traditional devotees.
Well, within it there, he's a great guitarist and a great, tremendous soloist.
Yeah.
And we were having a bash at a few reels there earlier on. So he'd
Good
surprise you.
Good player.
It's got to be a trip when you're standing right there. The main dude of the Chieftains or one of the Chieftains is sitting there talking about you. Even if you're Gary Moore, it's very cool, man. I liked this one a huge amount. I really did. I liked the end where they're popping their head. It was Neil, right? The keyboard guy, Neil. And Gary, they were in unison. That was very cool. I liked how he switched it up a tiny little bit. I made note of it, but they knew, they had set it up earlier that the Chieftains were going to do a whole little set in between the track. So he changed the way he sang it just a little bit so that they could come in and do their thing. So I knew it was coming because of that. That was exciting. I was listening to Eric Singer's drums again. And that pop, 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 it just sounds really neat. It's like a marching drum to me, and I like that a lot. I just think this song's super, super awesome. I think a lot of me enjoying it so much, too, is there's so much neatness. Sorry, not the best word, but for having like guys like the Chieftains next to Gary Moore and marrying these two wonderful things together. Now, unfortunately, they're all passed away. It sucks, but this was a really neat performance. This was something special, and it made me think right now. The bands that we're going to jump into, I did find one more. There's Gary. I hope you guys are cool with this, but there's Gary performing this track again in 1987 in Tokyo. So I'm going to do that last. And then I'll jump into Nightwish, I think. But I'm wondering, because these performances are so very good, what was it that made Nightwish, Dan Vask, Tama Johansson cover this particular song? Which performance was it that made them love the track? Was it the music video? Or I'm imagining this was a pretty big hit because it's just so catchy and there's a bunch of performances here, some being on TV, so it's easy. Anyway, without further delay, Chieftains, yeah. But let's see what he did in Tokyo. Let's give it a go. I'll see you on that one. Thanks, guys. So this is going to be my last reaction to the Over the Hills and Far Away with Gary Moore performing it. I did look up Bob Daisley since I spoke about everybody else in his band thus far. I looked up Bob Daisley. Bob Daisley's pretty cool resume too. Tons of stuff with Ozzy Osbourne. I feel like I should have known that. I feel it because I should have known that. But it's nice to learn new things. So what a band, man. This guy had such a cool lineup. And he was so darn cool himself. I haven't mentioned Thin Lizzy in any of these. I did it kind of intentionally. I did a video the other day, if you guys didn't see it. It was on Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which just frankly pisses me off. And I mentioned Thin Lizzy a lot in it. It was pretty much for me, one of the main reasons why I think the whole thing's a scam. It's a joke. How could Thin Lizzy not be in your friggin' Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And someone wrote there aptly it should be called the American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think it should just be called the American Hall of Music and Stuff. So anyway, watching these Gary Moore videos, Gary Moore should be in this Hall of Fame stuff too. But I think the guys that are really cool like this, they wouldn't give a crap if they're in your dumb Hall of Fame anyway. Okay, there's my rant. This is from 1987. If you guys are really watching the chronology here, I did screw up a little in that I just did the one with the Chieftains. It was incorrectly put on YouTube as 1987 when I did a little bit of looking up. It was actually done in 1988. So we switched it up a tiny little bit, but I don't know how much it matters. But it was very cool to see him performing with the Chieftains. If you guys haven't seen that episode, check it out. Anyhow, let's see. This is the last one here for 1987. Gary Moore. I'm lagging because I don't want him to end. I wish I found more live versions because I love this track. But this is going to be it for now, and then we'll jump into Nightwish. Let's do this.
Come on, Tokyo! They came for him one winter's night. Arrested, he was bound. They said there'd been a robbery. His pistol had been found. Yeah! They marched him to the station house. He waited till the dawn. As they led to the dock, he knew that he was wrong. Stand accused of robbery. He had
the freeze frame. That was perfect way to end this. Which was the best version? That was what I was thinking at the end. And I was all about to say Montreux I really loved, and the Chieftains was so very cool. But the guitar stuff at the end of this was very, very neat. Certainly all worth watching. I love me some Gary Moore. I want to say I always have, but no, man, this is all new to me. And that was just so very, very, very good. So it's cool to hear some of the people perform outside of some of your favorite bands. It's kind of neat. So Gary Moore, rest in peace, brother. God, you were so talented. That was so very, very good. And now we're going to jump into Nightwish, and I'm going to see what they did with it. I don't know. I hope I love it as much as I loved these, because, God, it's so very, very good. Which was your favorite performance? If you watched all of these, which is the one that did it for you, man? Or you can pick multiple like I did, because, boy, were they good. All right, let's jump into the next one. Let's see how songs live on, the legacy of music. And that's what happens when you write a great track like this. Everybody wants to perform it. Let's do this, guys. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing all of you on the next one. It'll be Nightwish. Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.